Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sizzling Hot Marriage Show. It is really a privilege and a blessing to be here with you again today. I'm excited about the opportunity to share some wonderful thoughts with you about marriage and keeping your marriage lit. Today we are going to do a part two of our show we did last week, so we hope that you will enjoy us today. All right, hold on 1 second here as we see what's going on with the technical difficulties. All right, you can't hear me? Okay, now you can hear me. All right, well, I'm so glad that we can hear me now. All right, once again, Joe Folletti here with the Sizzling Hot Marriage Show. Glad to be here together with you. Those of you who decided to join today, I encourage you to send your friends to sizzlinghotmarriage.com, where they'll be taken to the YouTube page, my Sizzling Hot Marriage page, with Joe Folletti Jr. YouTube channel. So make sure you join in each week at 8 o'clock as we talk about marriage and keeping your marriage lit. All right, you want to keep your marriage lit. How about that? Because some people's lights are going out, and so you got to work to keep that thing lit. And so that's what we're working on here, is helping you keep your marriage sizzling hot. All right, today we're going to be talking about interrupting again. And we're doing some things with what I call the communication blockers. And so we're going to take some time and start going through those. But before I get started, let me tell you a little bit about what it takes to have a sizzling hot marriage. If you want a sizzling hot, do you want a sizzling hot marriage? I mean, who don't want a sizzling hot marriage? In order to have a sizzling hot marriage, you have to have a sizzle mindset. So I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've been helping couples to figure out what's going on in their relationship and to learn how to communicate better and to get that sizzle back. And so I've come up with 7+1 principles, 7 secrets of a sizzling hot marriage, and I call them the sizzle mindset. So if you want a sizzling hot marriage, you have to have a sizzle mindset. So here are the 7 secrets of a sizzle mindset. First of all, you have to be committed. If you're not committed, you're not going to do what it takes to have a sizzling hot marriage. Second of all, you got to be flexible. If you want to be flexible, you got to bend a little bit. You have to adjust. And every marriage has seasons, and if you're not willing to flex, you're getting all stiff and tight, you're not going to have a sizzling hot marriage. And then the third secret is you got to be available. Sometimes we get a little too busy for marriage. Ain't nobody got no time for that, right? Working 3 jobs and working at night and sleeping all day. No time for the marriage. Well, if you want a sizzling hot marriage, you got to take some time for that thing. It took time to get her. It's going to take time to keep her. Fourth secret of a sizzling hot marriage, sizzle mindset, is to be calm. Too many people don't know how to control their emotions. They go off the rails. Well, nobody want to be with somebody who's always going off the rails. You got to learn how to be calm, how to chill out, how to have adult conversations. All right, so if you want a sizzle mindset, you got to learn how to express your anger in a calm way and talk through things. And that's the fifth T. The fifth sizzle mindset is to be talkative. It's unfortunate for some couples. After a while, they don't talk anymore. So it's important to keep that conversation going. That's what it took. Most couples, I mean, my wife and I, we talked all night before we got together. We're talking all the time. That's what made the magic work, talking. So you got to keep them conversations going. You got to be able to talk about tough subjects and work through things. And so that's the fifth secret, to be talkative. The sixth secret is to be sexy. That's right. That's what it was, and that's what it's got to keep being. I mean, what makes marriage different from all other relationships, supposedly, is sex. And so if you're not having sex, you're not consummating your marriage. And that's something that got to be done on a regular basis because we forget so easily. And so you got to be sexy, you got to be affectionate, you got to take time for one another. And the seventh secret is to be mindful. You've got to keep your marriage on your mind. You can't forget about it. You got to make it a priority. You got to set up rituals and activities to keep moving forward in your marriage. And so that's the seventh secret of a sizzle mindset. But then I got a bonus secret. This bonus secret is none less than any others. It's probably one of the biggest ones yet. That bonus secret is to be God-centered. I found that couples who are God-centered, who put God in the center of their marriage, who take time to reflect and experience a spiritual nature, are usually more committed and a more resilient when they go through tough times. So that's my eighth bonus sizzle mindset, is to be God-centered. So I want to encourage you to make sure that you have a sizzle mindset. Work on it. If you want to pick up a copy of my book, if I can get over there my mouse, I think this is it. My book. There it is. All right. Go to sizzlemindset.com. You can get a copy of my book where you can learn the secrets to keeping your marriage sizzling hot. Too many couples fall into a rut, forget how to make love. So you don't have to forget. I got it right here in my little book, and you can learn a lot about getting your marriage heated up. That's what you need. And so I encourage you to go to sizzlemindset.com. All right. So that is about the sizzle mindset. Now, let me go to my next slide, which is the marriage tip of the day. All right, so many couples, and unfortunately, my slide is off the thing a little bit, but the marriage tip of the day is use a coaster or some object to represent the floor and agree to share your ideas only when you have the floor. So what happens with so many couples and why they keep interrupting each other is because they don't take turns talking. And so get a floor towel or something, a coaster, something you can use to take turns talking. Some people have had a talking stick, whatever you call it. And what happens when you do that is you listen to one another. And so you won't talk over each other when you do that. So if you find yourselves arguing, find something. We got to take turns here. And that's my marriage tip of the day. Somebody needed that today. All right. So now, let's see. I'm excited to have a couple with us today again. The wisest, Joya and Chantel. We're so glad you guys have chosen to join us. Let's see if I can get you guys on the screen. These are my guests for today. Let's see here. How's that right there? I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I'm gonna get there eventually. How y'all doing today?
Doing good.
All right. Welcome. So glad y'all could join me again. And I want to do a little introduction of you here. If I can get you there. There you go. This is Meet the Wisest. There they are. Can you see the Wisest? There you are. No. I'm at the wrong. Okay. I'm going to get there. Here we go. All right. Okay, so there they are. So Choya and Chantel Wise have been married for 14 years. Woo! And they are proud parents of two beautiful daughters. They are the owners of Aspire Counseling and Consulting Services located in Huntsville, Alabama. Choya is a licensed clinical social worker who specializes in anger management and relationship counseling. Chantel is a licensed social worker, RN, and relationship coach who specializes in identity development for women. Identity development. You got to tell me a little bit about what that means. And Aspire is a Christian-based practice with the mission of building intimacy in all relationships and the model that in relationships is not about being right, but about being understood. So I'm so happy to have with me today in the studio via Zoom, Choya and Chantel. Welcome, guys. So glad you could join us today.
Yes.
All right, now, great. Thank you for coming out. Now, tell me a little bit about this identity thing. What's this identity? What is it? Identity development?
Yeah, so basically, I have encountered so many women just in the past years who just don't understand their self worth. They don't understand their identity. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they have to offer. And they're basically just broken. And so I just feel like, the Lord has impressed upon me to just help empower those women. Because a lot of times we lose our identity in marriages, because we conform, to the ways of our spouses. We lose our identity when we become parents. Like we forget about ourselves, and because we're so busy pouring into our children. We don't take that time to take care of ourselves and to see what it is that we desire as women. And so basically, I just like to encourage other women to just pull back and find yourself. Understand your self worth, and just really just focus on loving you and being able to identify with the person that you are, the person that God has called you to be. And then you will be so much better for those that you're trying to serve when you truly know who you are. So,
Well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I know you've been a blessing to many women, and and continue to be of service to the Lord and helping those who've had some misfortunate experiences in their lives. And so that's a beautiful thing. Well, you guys are a power couple, doing some great things for the Lord. That is awesome. My prayers continue to be with you. All right. Well, I wanna take some time and have a little fun with you guys. Is y'all okay with a little fun? Okay. We're gonna
might as
put you
well.
on a hot seat. Okay. All right. You're gonna have 60 seconds. Let me get my clock set. And I've got a couple questions. Let's see if you get through 6 questions in 60 seconds, but you might get 8. Let's see how you do. Let's see, stopwatch. There it is. All right. Okay. All right. So let me see if I can get you guys on the hot seat here. There we go. This is all fun. We having fun here. So here's the hot seat. Okay. I don't know if it's gonna work, but here we go. All right. Well, we hear the fire. All right, let's see if we can get. Okay, so you ready? All right. Let me see if I can. Get the fire showing. I can't do it. All right, here we go. All right, ready, set, go. All right, who took that first step to start your relationship? Okay, all right. What is your most favorite thing to do as a couple?
Maybe working out.
Okay. All right. Where did you go on your favorite vacation? All right. What was your most exciting holiday and why? All right. Who usually initiates sex? Who usually gives in first when y'all have a disagreement?
Ooh, that's tough. I apologize first.
Okay. All right. Who usually makes peace or passes a olive branch first after an argument? what is y'all's favorite room in the house as a couple?
Us together.
Yep. Okay, all right. All right. Which of one of you talks the loudest?
We're about what on that.
All right, all right. Okay, awesome. That's 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Didn't quite get it in a minute, but that's all right. Give him a hand. Y'all did a great job, great job. That was the Sizzle Mindset Hot Seat. All right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, did y'all enjoy that one?
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, all
I
right.
like that.
We're gonna have to go.
Yeah, we need some more sessions, man.
To actually
We gotta call up our guy.
to see how in agreement you guys are, huh? All right, fantastic. Okay, well today's topic is interrupting, and we're going to talk about part two. We may cover some of the same things we talked a little bit about last week, but it's a good thing to talk about because I think it's a big thing that couples have to go through. If you are watching and you have some problems with interrupting in your marriage, why don't you put it in the chat and say, hey, yep, we have it too. We do it sometimes as well, or we do it a lot. So today, talk about interrupting. Stop the continuous progress of an activity or process. Okay, the buzzer interrupted his thoughts. And so while we're talking, oftentimes we start, we can't wait to say what we have to say. So we cut off our spouse while they're talking. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Let's see what my next slide is. Do you have a problem interrupting? All right, so the question I have for you guys is, y'all been married for 14 years. Do y'all interrupt each other? Y'all have mastered that communication thing yet?
We interrupt.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say we mastered it, but we're very satisfied. I'm satisfied.
Yeah, it's a very big improvement.
Yeah.
It has.
We
It has
haven't
improved
always
a
been
lot.
satisfied.
And I don't think that we'll ever master it. I
'Cause
think it just looks different. Like we interrupt differently,
I think master.
more maturely
Okay, okay.
and respectfully. We
Much more
respectfully
respectfully.
interrupt.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to mature over time, right? And get better. And
Yeah.
do you guys see that maturity?
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a lot
Big
different
time.
now. It's a whole lot different. I mean, when you're younger, if you haven't really seen communication demonstrated the way that it should be, I think that's where a lot of times we miss out. When you see it demonstrated the way that it's supposed to be, or have a pretty reasonable perspective of that, then I think you have better chances at mirroring and acting that out. But when you have it, then you have to create kind of your own rules as far as what you think and how you think it should go. And your rules a lot of times are in conflict with your spouse thinks, and then here we go. We just go for years on that before we
Mm-hmm.
Figure
Mm-hmm.
it out. Yeah.
yeah,
Did
Or
you
get some
guys?
help.
What'd you say?
or get some help.
I said
Yeah,
before
That's
we'll
right.
go years on that before we figure it out or get some help.
yeah,
Ah, okay, okay.
yeah.
So did you guys have good examples?
I no, not for that, not for
Mm-hmm.
that because the example didn't have good example.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so recycling. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like it's some people get it. You see what I'm saying? When they don't get it, but I think most of us don't just get how to communicate effectively if we haven't gotten it. We may have a better idea that we could discover on our own, but I think that sometimes we have a whole lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly thought that I was a really good, effective communicator, and then Chantel, she kind of explained to me that I needed to relook at that. Yeah.
So
It took a
you
couple of
had
years.
you had that smooth talking game in the beginning. You thought you had something going on, huh?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't have a good example either. There was either no communication or very bad
yeah. You better
communication.
hope your folks don't see this
No,
one.
it's okay.
Just pull up on YouTube
That's okay. They understand.
They know the truth.
But now I'm teaching them
now.
some
We're
things,
not
so it's
going there
okay.
for this Christmas, so.
Ah, they get at least a year and a half of cooling down.
Yeah.
So when y'all first got together, I mean, did y'all have any problems communicating, or was it smooth sailing?
No, we had a lot of problems communicating. But
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a big deal for me. It was just like, okay,
It
well,
was
this is how
that
it
was
is.
normal.
I'm just glad to break the cycle and get married. You know what I'm saying? Who cares about communicating? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going on generations here. You know what I'm saying? That don't get married. So like, I done broke the mold. So it's just
Wow,
like all
wow.
the rest is just extra. You
Oh,
know?
that's
So
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
And for me, I guess
it
it
was
didn't.
generations, but it's a generation. You know? So
And see, for me, communication wasn't modeled well in my home, and so um, if we didn't communicate, like I was okay with that because we didn't communicate growing up, you know. So it wasn't like it wasn't a big deal for me either. But when we had conflict,
it could get kind of
yeah, it would get it can
verbal.
yeah it can get a little ugly.
Even before y'all got married?
No, we
No.
had one argument before we got married, and that was the only red flag that I saw for Chantel. And I said, "Ooh, well, you know what I'm saying? We're kind of far in here, you know." And I start, bargaining with that, and
So you actually thought about breaking up after that argument, that
yeah,
first argument?
it was pretty intense, man. It was over by that church somewhere out there by you know,
I don't remember.
yeah, it was. I
Was it
forgot the
about the
name. We don't
wedding?
know the name. I believe
It
so.
was
It
something.
was we were under a lot of
That's
stress.
crazy.
It was going through budgeting concerns and
It was
that
something
just
about the wedding.
yeah. And we had a bad one right there. I don't know how we recovered from that one so quickly, but that actually was one of the worst ones even through our marriage, in my opinion. Yeah, that one always stood out for me. For
Mm-hmm.
me, you
So
know.
how did you guys rock through that and go on and get married?
We were just so in love, man, that it was just like, you just like, well, man, maybe that just was one of those deals.
And I don't even remember it really being anything real significant either. I think we were just under a lot of stress.
We're under a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
stress.
And so, when you're under stress, those
Not enough
the
money.
yeah,
smallest
A
things
lot of
can
yeah,
stress,
be
not
just
enough money.
yeah.
That's the typical.
And when you're under a lot of stress, a lot of times you don't get enough sleep,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
very
may be
true.
hungry,
Yeah,
and so all that perfect storm sometimes comes together, and
just blows
That's
up.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
Mm-hmm. So when once you got married, did you see that those issues again that you saw?
Yeah, I think we did. I didn't recognize it as being as intense as that was, but it did get pretty intense pretty frequently. I had a lot of anger management concerns that I wasn't really aware of that existed, that my mother had already warned me about, that existed, and I thought that it only existed with her because she made me act like that. And she will always warn me that the way you're talking to me, Joy, like one day you're gonna get married and you're gonna talk to your wife like that. And I was like, no, I'm talking to you like that because this is it was I wasn't happy with the way things were going down. And I was that was very disrespectful. But there was some things going on both sides that could have been handled. Like you said, this is where we learn communication. You know, and so some of that stuff came into the marriage, a lot of it, and those anger concerns when I got married, they didn't just leave. And so she kind of had a lot to deal with. I didn't even know I was angry. It's like
Hmm.
I'm passionate. Like I'm
Right,
passionate. Do you understand that?
right, right. I got that
Don't
passion.
call me angry, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just
So,
passionate. Every time when I hear that down the office, it just I don't try to. I was like, okay, you're passionate. We'll have to talk
mm-hmm.
about that passion.
Right, right. So, so how did you? I mean, how did you handle that, Chantel, when you realized that how passionate he was?
um, well, I was pretty passionate too. so
I wasn't the only one, right?
so we would bump heads a lot. Like because I of course, I wasn't gonna be talked to crazy. Like that was for sure.
How did I
Um,
talk to you crazy? What would I say?
well, just
So he felt like he was disrespectful.
um, he would be belittling. Yeah, he would. So yes.
And see, this was a deal. Is that belittling? I
See,
think at that
he just
time.
interrupted me. Did you
Yeah,
catch that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was preempted too. That was. I knew that I was going. I thought about it. So I just I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
All that passion. That's that passion. There it is.
The thing is that what was belittling to her a lot of times was I was never to me the belittling type of guy. I was just the right guy. So if and to me and you could better explain your situation, but to me for if I was trying to state my case and this was fact to me, and then I'm like, well, how you going to talk to me about such and such, and this is what I have my degree in. So I'm a little bit arrogant, I guess. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't come just fresh like that. That came after some words, and then
Mm.
I got to that point and was just like, well, how you gonna? It wasn't just like just off the top. You're not
Right.
qualified.
Right.
You see what I'm
So
saying?
you so you felt like
I'm defending myself, fighting for
so
my life, man.
so yes. So you felt like there was something wrong with Chantel.
Yeah, look, I thought there was something there. A little something.
So you had to educate her.
Like, why don't you just agree with me all the time, man? It'll be a
That's
happy
what was.
home.
Hey, Letty, that's what was wrong with me. What was wrong with me is that I didn't agree with him on everything. That's what was wrong with
That
me.
was a problem. That was a problem.
Yeah, that was a problem
Yeah,
because I don't just
I was
agree
right.
with
Why would you
everything.
agree with somebody that's right? I mean, I'm not just trying to be
Right.
right. I am.
Boy, that was hard, huh, Chantel?
Oh,
It's hard to deal with somebody who's always right.
I mean, because you can never be right. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always wrong. If you're always right, then I'm always
Boy,
wrong.
I can see an argument there, boy. Y'all had
That
some
that
serious heated
that
ones, didn't
That
you?
was a problem.
that's sending a message to me like you're incompetent. You don't know anything.
Stupid.
So you're not.
That sent the
That's
message that
it.
she's stupid, but I never felt that she was stupid.
Right,
That
right,
was not what I was trying to express. I was just trying to express that you're just wrong. Can you be wrong and not be stupid?
I'm
So
intelligently
that's
wrong.
what we kind of. She felt that I was basically saying she's stupid, and that's why it felt like abusive and an assault to her, and I didn't know it.
Hmm. So how long, Chantel? How long did you have to put up with that before you had a breakthrough?
Maybe 8 years, maybe 7, 8 years. But I was in it for I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah,
That's that because
that's
things like that is most women won't stick that out. Most women won't. But
I didn't know it was that bad.
um, things like that I know through prayer and through through spiritual growth that those things can change. So I mean, I knew it was just a matter of time. Um, but again, I wasn't gonna back down. For
No,
what.
no, that wasn't happening.
So
That's why
what?
it made it hard to see too, is because she didn't back down. It's like
So what was the breakthrough?
Counseling.
counseling. That's why
Counseling was
we
a
recommend
breakthrough.
counseling. It works.
So who initiated that?
I did.
Why?
Well, I thought that he'll probably tell her that how she's screwing up.
You looking for an
How
ally?
else would it go down?
Hey, he's
Not here to talk about me.
He's in there disagreeing with the counselor.
He calling in for the backup squad. Wow. And so how long did you all do counseling?
We're quick learners, man. We did about 12 sessions or so.
Okay. Okay. And how many sessions before there was a breakthrough?
We
Well,
start.
I think quickly because see what so what we were able
he
to
was scared.
Who
identify like
who'd y'all see? Who'd y'all see? Tell the world.
Tom, man, Tom, what's his name?
Tom.
He wants it. He wants referrals.
I don't know Tom's last name right off. It's in my phone. Tom,
Okay.
but he's a good guy.
He's
He
a
was
good guy.
referred to us by a friend.
Here in Huntsville.
Yeah, he's
He's
in
in
Huntsville.
Huntsville.
Okay. All right.
Christian counselor too.
Yeah, Christian Cancer,
Okay.
really good
Great.
guy. So
Tom Caldwell.
Caldwell.
We have
Okay.
to keep his info now, just in case.
Yeah,
You
so
know.
That's
because we
right.
need maintenance,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
it. That's
our
it.
car we have to go
That's
back
it.
around and tune
Sometimes
up.
something happens. It's been a while since we've done that, but sometimes stuff will come up. Be like, look, man,
Call
we're
Tom.
gonna have to call Tom on because if we don't straighten this up, man,
Okay.
I
All
think we
right.
need to talk to Tom.
Awesome. So in that
So
first session, so there was a breakthrough.
maybe
Well,
the first one was
he
it,
did that
but
report thing.
maybe
You
like
know,
the third. I would say the
about
third session
third.
what ended
It
up.
was like a date, man. It was fun.
Yeah, it was good. We enjoyed counseling because
Yeah,
we both came willing to
to do the work,
do the work and
even
and
though
get
she
what we
was
can get. Although I was wrong, we both came.
gonna work with.
But
So
basically,
he told you were wrong, Chantel. The Tom.
no, no. What ended
Tom
up?
was just smooth with it,
So
man. He just basically didn't even make nobody.
I think what ended up, like I think like on the maybe around the third session, we were able to discover that Troya was argumentative because he when he grew up he felt like he was like he always had to explain himself. He always had to explain himself. And so he brought that into the marriage. And so by him feeling like he had to prove that he was right or that he didn't do it or that he didn't say that or whatever, then it would turn into an argument. And then he the way that he would come off, it was like he was belittling me and making me feel small. And so that took me back to my childhood where I had a very significant person, my father, who one day called me stupid or no, a dummy. He asked me if I was a dummy, and I didn't realize the effects that had on me with him saying that to me when I was a teenager. And
So I
so
was
when
her daddy,
Troya
y'all.
would talk to me and make and I was wrong about everything, that's triggering in my head like, okay, you're a dummy, because I still hear my father say me and my father, we have a very close
Daddy,
relationship,
great.
and he
Oh,
didn't know.
great, dude. Great, man.
My
Love
dad
him,
is
man.
phenomenal, but he
Man,
just didn't
I can't match
realize
up to him. Like it's tough.
he didn't realize that the damage of those words. That's why we have to be careful what we say to our kids because it registers something else. Even when
Mm.
we're not trying to be, because I'll go to my grave saying that my dad's intent was never to hurt me. He just said what he said, and it it stuck. And so forever, I carried that even into my marriage. Like unconsciously. And so when he, as a man, reminded me so much of my father just from his work ethics, his love for his family,
I was him.
all of those things. He was the closest thing to my dad, and so when he would come off, I would just hear my dad
I
like,
was
"You're a
calling her
dummy, you're a
stupid
dummy,"
all the time, and she's a dummy.
and so we had to,
Interrupting her all the time.
Yeah,
so we just had to
that's
get to
another.
the root of that, those things, and understand those things, and so I had to not come off as like his mom and where he had to feel like he has to prove everything, and then
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't come off like my dad saying that, hey, you're a dummy, and
Mm-hmm.
so
So you
once we
guys,
got that, we were good.
that's awesome. So you guys had to, I mean, in counseling, you were able to really understand the the issues underlying your conflict and why y'all were having this interrupting and arguing and fighting. And that came out pretty quickly. It sounds like in that process, and did how did that help you, particularly Choya? How did that help you when you realized, that hey, this is this is something coming from back there. This is I'm bringing that back there here. I mean, how did that affect you?
Well, I decided I wanted to become a full-time counselor.
Really?
I was like,
Are you
it
serious?
wasn't that far after that, though. You know what I'm saying? That
Wow.
didn't do it, but that's what ended up happening.
That was a part of the formula.
I didn't can't talk about this, but you know. So, so
That's awesome.
yeah. So no, but
That was how significant the breakthrough was for you. You're like,
it was
wow.
real. Yeah, it made me definitely a believer. And it influenced it. It influenced it. Cause I was peeping Tom. I was
Wow.
peeping to see what he
Wow.
was doing, and I was taking notes and everything. I still had
You
those
you were
notes.
serious about that.
Yeah,
Chantel, did you see a difference quickly in him?
I did. I did.
What
I
what
did. I mean, and of course, it wasn't like an overnight thing, but I saw the attempt. I saw him trying. He was putting the effort. He was putting forth the efforts to do better, to change. So, absolutely, absolutely.
mm-hmm.
And I think you can say the same for me, right?
yeah. It was
Yeah.
almost immediate. I mean, it was just a few sessions.
Mm-hmm.
We were really enjoying it because one of our problems, and this may help some of the younger couples. We're older parents, uh, but when you have a child, if you already have pre-existing problems, it has the tendency to bring out more problems. A lot of divorces occur, around the time of the first child, and so we were going through some of that. And so I bring that up to say that we did not know that we had not gone on a date in what, close to a year or something, and we were not aware of that. And so, really, for counseling for us, it might kind of sound kind of pathetic, but it kind of ended up turning into like a little bit like a date. You know,
Mm-hmm.
after about third, fourth session, we were really invested in trying to do change. We weren't trying to argue with the counselor. We're just like, look, I'm not a counselor up in here. You're the counselor. I'm learning from you in a lot of ways. And so that's the attitude that we had, and so it ended up working out for us pretty quick.
That's
But the
awesome.
rest of about after the fifth or sixth section, the rest we were just dating.
Okay. Okay. It was fun. Hey Tom,
It was
let's
fun.
sit down. Let's have some fun up in here. I got you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So y'all went on a ate together afterwards or something like that. How'd
Yeah,
y'all do
Full
that?
we
day.
made it a full event, man,
That's
and we
what's up.
hadn't done that like forever.
We'll
That's
go talk
awesome.
about what we
Yeah.
learned in counseling
Uh-huh.
Mm,
and
somebody.
how we will do better.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Somebody kept the kid in the background. Is that how
Yeah.
that worked too? See how that is?
Yeah.
Counseling was an excuse
Mom.
to get a sitter. There you go.
Yeah. Mom, she helped us a lot with that.
Well, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So I mean, he he still cuts you off sometime, right?
Yeah, he does. But because I was even thinking about this after the last the last week's session that we did with you on here. He's a different dude. Like, this is not the same guy that I married. Like, by a long shot.
Yeah.
He's so different. He's more attentive. He's more wrong.
I'm wrong. I'm so wrong.
You mean he's
Oh,
humble? He humble now, huh?
Yeah, I'm so wrong. I'm almost insecure.
but what? And so he doesn't have a point to prove anymore,
That's yeah,
other than proving to me that he loves and cherishes me. And so that, he's a different
yeah,
cat.
yeah. It's like I can feel it in me when I'm trying to that point, that thing of trying to prove a point, and then that's when I start being prayerful to the Holy Spirit to just kind of like, what are you doing? Because it's still there. It's still there. It's still just rises up for just little simple things. But
Yeah.
I just try to be prayerful about it.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Spirit just be like, look, it's not about being right. It's about being understood. Every conversation is not a competition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that can quickly change because, excuse me, you know, I did that most of my life, and when we went to counseling, it changed. It changed
Mm-hmm.
pretty quick, and it's because I was open minded to the change. And
Yeah.
I think that when you go to counseling and you're open to hearing, what Folletti has to say or your counselor has to say, and trusting them as being a spiritual leader, almost like your pastor, to nurture you. knowing that they have already prayed on you, prayed for you, and things of that nature before, and so that this is a spiritual thing, and then you can receive that, then it's gonna make the process so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not fighting about. It's empowering to understand what
Mm-hmm.
you're wrong about.
Mm-hmm.
We
Awesome.
actually had a situation not long ago, and he was trying to prove a point. He was, and the funny thing about it is that he will admit now that he's trying to prove a point, which is not necessary. But he quickly like called himself, and he was like, yeah, I'm. He was like, I'm wrong. He was like, you're
Yeah.
right. He was like, I should. I shouldn't do that. I don't know why I'm doing that. He caught
I
himself
got a little. I
quickly.
told her I was being emotional.
And
I knew it was wrong, but I was just doing it, and
Right.
it just need to be
You,
called out.
you
but
get
and we got over it. It was nothing. It
Cause she
didn't
was pretty
linger.
upset, but she was bearing with me because
that's
I
what's
was
up.
not being right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You think
But
you
I told
think
her I was sorry.
that's great. So y'all patched it up. You think guys have that problem? I mean, do you think that what you had to kind of get through and still struggle with is something that a lot of guys struggle with?
Absolutely. I think it's something in the with the testosterone, something in the DNA. We got in our DNA to go out, kill, and bring home. You know what I'm saying? That's how we used to eat. And so it's just something about that I think that is just in the chat. You even see young boys, and you just see they're much more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Than the little girls many times. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just something in us to want to 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 be that powerful
Macho, macho
macho,
man.
yeah, that type of thing, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I think that's where a lot of that comes from. And then I think we've been socialized into it as well and conditioned to think a certain way. Old school used to be, basically what the man said was what it was. And I still have some old school cats talking about, yeah, when my daddy, when he got home, didn't nobody eat, and which I mean, I can but didn't nobody eat until we ate, and until basically that whole thing where everything is the world is around the man and nothing else. What he says goes. Don't say anything about it.
Right.
Just shut up, take your role, fix me some food. I remember on Good Times, the dude said that the only thing that a woman is good for is the kitchen and the bedroom, Florida. The kitchen and the bedroom. And some dudes still think like that. You see what I'm saying? They think that their woman, no doubt she helped you to get that degree and wrote your dissertation and did all this stuff, you know,
Ah,
and you still try to treat her like just the kitchen and the
Right.
bedroom stuff,
Right.
and a lot of it I think comes from insecurity,
Right.
and just not being in that place,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. It's so true. I think a lot of guys they may not want to admit it, but there's some insecurity there, and there's a lot of pressure on men to be all that, to carry the world on their shoulders, and to look like they're winning. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah,
and I think a lot of men have a hard time with criticism, and women, God designed a woman to be our helpmeet, our helper. And what does your helper do? Your helper, tells you, hey, you about to step on that nail over there. And man, a man, we in our insecurity, we're like, I can see. I don't need you to tell me. There's like, I mean, just like when we were teenagers. You remember how we did that when we were teenagers? Like, don't tell me what to do. I know.
that's right,
I know the trash needs to be empty.
yeah,
We grown men, and we still doing the same thing. And the sad part, step right on that nail. You know what I mean? Step right on that nail. I mean,
so
and
true.
that's really
Yep.
the condition of a lot of us, and we have to really. I know for me, I had to figure out that even though I didn't like my wife's delivery, her delivery was just jacked, but uh, uh,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I had to learn that she has something valuable for me, and I need to listen. I needed to, because I mean, even if I didn't do what she wanted me to do, I mean, 9 out of 10, I probably need to do what she, was suggested for me to do, because she's looking on, and she's got a perspective that God gave her. He gave her to me so I could have her perspective, and she could enrich my experience and my effectiveness, my productivity, but boy, it took some time um, to really. I mean, boy, I feel for her. She had hanging with me for 10 years. You did 8,
Yeah.
10 years for me to get like,
Maybe
oh,
that's
that's what you're trying to say. Well, why didn't you say it in the first place?
yup,
Yeah,
yup.
yeah. So that you felt that frustration, Chantel, trying to communicate to him, trying to help him, and he just wouldn't let you.
So I think one of the things that ended up sending us to counseling too, because I started pulling back. Like
Man,
there started to
ooh,
be a disconnection,
man,
and
yeah, this is bad.
like if you don't even talk, I don't even care. Like if you don't say a word, yes,
Yeah,
that's where it was becoming like, and that's what we knew. Okay, we're probably in a little trouble here. If we don't get some help, like
yeah.
Cause I don't care no
not
more.
gonna help.
That was getting
Yeah,
bad.
Um, so
yeah. I think when a
And I
woman
couldn't understand
feels,
what was going on. Go
I
ahead.
I think when a woman feels um, um, unheard, and
inadequate.
she feels unneeded, and I think a woman who feels unneeded, unuseful with her man. I mean, she she starts drifting.
Yeah, yeah. It was a lot going on with that. And like I said, I couldn't really understand it. I couldn't understand the reason why things were trending in that way. And it's just something that I had to just be more open to listening. And I think that's what a lot of times couples don't recognize is that the answers to how your spouse wants to be treated is right with them. You know, some
Yeah.
even with spouse that don't even know how they want to be treated, they know that what you're doing they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
That you might say, well, what do you want me to do, or how do you, I have that to come sometimes with couples, and they may not be able to answer the question
Mm-hmm.
as to what it is that they want, but they do know what they don't want, and maybe that's where you need to start, just paying attention to, like, this is what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe together, just because your spouse, and sometimes this is what happened with Chantel, I believe, is that just because she can't tell me all the way what it is that she wants doesn't mean that what she wants is invalid, or that there's still not a need
Mm-hmm.
for me to act on. I need to
Mm-hmm.
try to figure it out. It's not
Mm-hmm.
up to her, and I can't just leave it to rest on her to figure it out, to tell me what she needs. I like, he might not have been saying this in his book, Claude Thomas, Dr. Claude Thomas, but he probably would agree that a professional lover is his whole thing. Professional lover, that you're gonna figure things out. You become that pro,
Right.
trying to
Right.
understand how to love your spouse.
So Chantel, you feel now that Joya values your opinion,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
and that's made a world of difference for you.
No, yeah. I mean, it has definitely our relationship has grown tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I do feel needed. I do feel important. I feel heard. You know. Um, I feel like I'm right about something. So absolutely,
Well, she
absolutely.
tells me too if I'm not doing a good job, and I listen. But she don't, and the way that she speaks to me is a lot different too.
Because
And
Well,
it's not
I
put
was
up.
speaking out of anger. I was speaking out of
Yeah,
anger and bitterness because
because he wasn't listening.
yeah, and I was
So you gonna
going.
make sure he heard you. You gonna hear me.
I heard it.
But he didn't get it. He wasn't listening. Like.
Yeah, it took a third party, and sometimes, sometimes it takes that.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful for that. I don't, you have some people that's too prideful to admit that they have an issue or to even pull somebody else in. Like I have a loved one right now that said a counselor couldn't tell them nothing. Like they couldn't,
Man,
and that's the
such a big
mindset of some
red
people.
flag right there.
But I'm forever grateful for what we experienced and the help that we got because
That's right. That's awesome. Awesome. Well, that's a great opportunity to kind of do a little commercial break here. Lifestyle Therapy and Coaching at lifestyletherapycoach.com if you want to talk to a counselor. I'll be glad to for you to set up an appointment with me. So just go to lifestyletherapycoach.com and set up an appointment with me. If you want to work on some things in your marriage, I mean, it's true. We need each other, and there are times when we need to go talk to somebody else, and we're just not getting through. And if you're getting to the point where you're really getting belligerent, or like Chantel said, checking out, I mean, it's time to really get some help. And God forbid there's some violence going on. That's definitely a sign that we need to get some help. So here are some things we do. Look at this list. This is the communication blockers. Here's some of the things we do: interrupting, ignoring, sarcasm, accusing, insulting, globalizing, you always, you never, judging, dominating, threatening, psychoanalyzing. What your problem is, you narcissist, getting angry, blaming, stating opinion as fact, prophesying. What's going to happen is expecting someone to read your mind, filibuster, gunny sacking, flooding, pivoting, gaslighting, violence, false argument. All of these are some of the things that you guys probably recognize some of those things. Yeah, man, it's what we do. And when we do those things, communication is blocked, and there's no communication once you start doing those things. And so you guys have learned. It sounds like you've learned how to bring some soothing, some salve into that thing, and really have calmed down and are in a position to listen to each other. You're not so busy trying to talk anymore, and that's why this thing is working. It ain't perfect, right? But it's working. Praise God.
Yes, yes.
absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Well, I thank you guys for once again coming on and sharing your experience with everybody. It's just so valuable to hear other couples. When you're going, especially when you're going through something, it's so valuable to hear other couples share their experience, and that may be something that would encourage you. So I encourage other people. This is for Aspire Counseling. If you're interested, go to Aspire. What's the website? AspireCounselingAl.com. So if you're interested in Choya or Chantel, make sure you check them out on their site. Valuable counseling and intervention is a valuable thing, and I strongly encourage it to anyone. Next week we're going to be talking about ignoring. So if you got a spouse who's all into the games or whatever, and they just ignoring you, that's not going to be, that doesn't bring no happiness. Don't bring no happiness in the situation. So we're gonna talk about that next week. So we hope that those of you who joined us can check back in with us next week for that. And also, I have my Sizzling Hot Marriage Rehab program that I encourage you if your marriage is in trouble. I got a program for couples who have come to a point where they're at the last draw. They have, they know that it's almost over. And so if that's you and you feel like you need some professional intervention, I want to encourage you to check us out at again at sizzlemindset.com. You can go there or lifestyletherapycoach.com, so you can check out our program. Okay. Last but not least, we are encouraging couples to take time this week. I think I have a challenge this week. Let me see if I have my weekly challenge and see if you guys are willing to accept my challenge of the week. All right, where is it? There it is. All right, so today's challenge. Let's see if y'all can do this week. Joy and Chantel, no interrupting for an entire week. If your spouse catches you interrupting, you have to give them a kiss.
Wow, Troy, you're gonna be interrupting me all day.
Oh Lord, have mercy. That's not punishment, huh? I should have rethought that.
Yeah. That's a win-win.
You had to do an extra chore or something.
Extra chore. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, all right. Let's a kiss and a chore. How about that? That's right, a kiss and a chore. Oh yeah, well that's awesome. Well, guys, it indeed has been a wonderful time to spend with everybody, to Chantel and Choya and those who joined us online. Thank you for coming on and watching our show. We're in the infant stages. Hopefully we can get better at this thing and be a help to a lot of couples, just who can tune in and learn something that might light up, keep their marriage lit. So that's what our prayer is for you all today. And I like to encourage couples. I don't care where you are in your marriage. If you're struggling particularly, don't give up. Keep pressing forward. Marriage is seasons. It's ups and downs, hills and valleys. And there's dry seasons and wet seasons. And you really just have to kind of push through it, And so don't give up on your marriage. You've made a major investment. You had high hopes for your marriage. And even if those in-love feelings are gone, man, they can come back. I'm telling you, they can come back. You just got to do the right things. Get that sizzle mindset going. And you'll see that those feelings start coming back again. That's amazing. I have so many couples coming wondering, can I feel that feeling again? Yes, you can. So I want to encourage couples not to give up. So I'm gonna close with a word of prayer for the couples watching this, watching the replay or watching it live. So let's bow our heads. Father in heaven, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to talk about marriage. I thank you for each couple that's listening in. You know their situation and circumstance. I pray that you will enrich their marriage. Help them to peel back the underlying issues, maybe stuff from even way before the marriage, from childhood, that may be coming in and interrupting their flow. So, Father, I ask that you will bless them, that they'll be open to change, open to learning, open to growth, and even open to getting a third party involved if that's what's necessary in order to bring the healing so that they can have the wholeness that they desire. And so I pray that for each marriage online who's listening in, and we pray that you will continue to bless this show, that it might be a blessing to other couples. And we pray a special prayer over the Wises, Joy and Chantel. Bless their marriage, bless their work in helping people live a better life. We ask that you will forgive us all of our sins, Lord, and we look forward to seeing you again in your soon coming kingdom. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, folks. Well, God bless you all, and I look forward to seeing you next week for our topic about ignoring. God bless you, and see you next week. Keep that marriage lit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.